Hey everyone, welcome to today's call where we're going to talk about love versus hate. Which one is the better one for weight loss motivation? And the reason I bring this up is because I think most of us know intuitively or obviously that what most people use to try and motivate themselves to lose weight is hate. They try hating themselves. I hate my body. I hate how I look, hate how I feel, and I need to change it. And that's pretty much the de facto motivation that people rely upon. And they will say, well, once I lose the weight, then I will love myself. Then it'll happen. Then I've earned it. Then I deserve it. And so I want to talk about these two things because I have found that to not be the best motivation. So spoiler alert, I think love turns out to be the much, much, much stronger motivator to help you master your weight. But let's talk about it a little bit because I want to convince you, because I know that you believe probably in your mind and your heart that hating the situation you're in is the better motivation to get you to take action. But it falls short for a couple of reasons. So let's talk about it. First off, usually when people think about motivation that they have for weight loss, if you really take a step back and think about it, it usually comes out of a pain-based experience, right? You step on the scale, you see a picture of yourself, you got to go to the doctor, someone says something mean, something triggers you to have a very painful experience with your weight in your body. And you get in this very emotional state where you hate it. You hate that feeling. It's very unpleasant. And you hate your body. You hate the situation you're in. You hate that you let yourself get into it. And you say, that's it. I'm going to change it. And in that very emotional, painful state, you tend to choose a very extreme weight loss plan or something very, very strict where there's no room for error because this is it. You're going to do it this time. You stick with it for a little while and then it fades away. Or you stick with it and you start to get some results. And then as you start to get some results, you start to notice your motivation starts to go down and it gets harder and harder for you to stick to the plan. Why is that? Well, if you're only using pain as motivation, then that's what you're going to experience because you need that high level of pain in order to motivate you to take the action. But what happens when you start to lose some weight? Well, the pain starts to go down, and so does your motivation if that's what you built it around. So those are the two big problems. The first one is that the motivation goes down as the pain starts to recede, as you start to get better results. And the other piece is that your brain does not like pain. Right? So your brain is literally created. It's a pleasure-seeking mechanism. So this idea that you're going to hate everything about yourself to get yourself to take positive action, well, how has it worked for you? I guess this is what I would say. So it's time for you to take a step back and realize that there might be a better way to motivate yourself. And it may come from a place that you've never really considered and have just a reflexive kind of rejection of. And so I want you to kind of open yourself up a little bit and consider it, because the alternative to hating yourself in order to motivate yourself to lose weight is to start loving yourself, to love your body right now, whatever the situation is, to love yourself, even if you got yourself into this situation, and to use that love to demand more for yourself, not necessarily from yourself. So it's not this, I guess, right? We have to take one more step back because it's a different paradigm shift. We want to get out of the short-term weight loss phase where we really want to put the screws to ourselves and kind of whip ourselves to get ourselves to take action, intense action to lose some weight. And instead, we want to realize that there's no whipping of ourselves. There's no punishing ourselves in this other paradigm I'm talking about. It's a paradigm where you start to truly connect with yourself. You start to feel deep love for yourself, forgiveness, appreciation, gratitude, all these wonderful emotions. You start to feel those. And from that place, you start to crave and desire more of those good feelings. And you realize that the quickest, easiest way to get more of those feelings of love, success, momentum, encouragement, hope, all these wonderful things is to start making healthier choices, to start eating healthier foods, to start living healthier. So you start to feel better. So you start to feel encouraged about what you're doing. And ultimately, so that you start to look and feel the way that you deserve. Right. So this is the love I'm talking about. And so you don't have to love how you look. You can love yourself and want to look better. That's fine. Okay. But when you start with this feeling of love, you're going to notice right away it feels so different. And it's just so much more effective because, when we hate ourselves, it's an unpleasant feeling. And so a lot of times we're going to look for relief from that hate, that constantly trying to whip ourselves and screw, come on, all this angry energy a lot of times leads to us overeating. because we just can't keep it up. And we always want, oh, I need a break from it. Well, here comes the food. Okay. So with the love, it's so much more energy efficient, first off, because we're not trying to whip ourselves. We're saying, okay, listen, what do I deserve? What do I owe myself? What do I want to experience in life? Who do I want to be? You see, I want to be this version of myself. I want to feel better. I want to just be free of the food and the weight and all of the pain. I want to live a life of pleasure, of happiness, of joy, right? All these wonderful things. And so that becomes the goal and the focus. And we consistently move towards that with each and every decision, each and every behavior we make. So it's not oriented just around the weight loss. That is a goal of it, but that goal is almost secondary. And we focus on the day-to-day behaviors and actions and decisions that we get to experience right now. And so instead of saying, I'm going to lose some weight so that I can love myself, oh, that just doesn't sound right, right? When you say it out loud, it just doesn't sound right. And instead we say, you know what? I don't give a shit what weight I'm at. I deserve to feel love for myself. And if I don't love myself, who's going to? You know, it always starts with you. And so we start with, I want to love myself. I owe this. Who gives a shit if I'm overweight? Who cares if I've struggled with my eating? I can still love myself. I still deserve love. So we start with that idea. And again, you know, I'm trying to give just like straight time. I'm going to go into the deepest stuff, but in Program Yourself Thin, we're always taking that step back and we're in a different paradigm. And it's an inside out approach to weight mastery. It's not this, right? Because what are most people doing? They're whipping themselves like they're a horse, trying to get themselves to lose weight. So that what? Then they deserve love. Then they deserve happiness. Then they deserve to feel confident. I don't know. I mean, that to me doesn't make sense when the alternative is that you can feel confident now. You can feel love now. You can feel happiness right now and use those feelings to drive your behaviors in the right direction. And so that's the alternative I lay out for you. And so it's not up for me to say which one's better. I mean, in my experience, I've seen one absolutely be better, but it's up for you to kind of take this internally, internalize what I'm saying here and reflect on it. Reflect on if you've been using hate, if you've been trying to whip yourself to do the right thing and how that's worked for you and how it feels. And then I want you to compare that to what may potentially be a new path for you. They may have not really considered one that's filled with love right now. It starts with love right now. And it's a path where you just feel more and more and more love for yourself, love for your body. And so, you know, as you give this some thought and some time, I think you're going to find that one is certainly a much more dominant and effective emotion for your weight loss. And you're going to realize one of them feels a whole lot better too. All right. So test this out. And I hope this helps you. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. Veronica, thank you for the rose. I appreciate that. That's great. Hey, Huntington, 1978, Central Florida. How's it going? Oh, you have great eyes. Thank you very much. Yeah, here we are on Monday, right? So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. Yeah, where are we at? Monday? I don't know. It's raining by me. It's weird weather. Feels like summer. My kids are off from school, so it feels like summertime. Which brings its own set of challenges, you know, when it comes to the weight mastery piece, you know. And then it's funny, like I had someone just signed up for the program. How much is your program? So there's two versions of it right now. The program only is $300 at the moment. The program with me coaching is $1,000, and that's 8 weeks where you get, you know, 8 weeks access to me. We meet up twice a week for the coaching. And so, yeah, and you can go to Program Yourself then and learn about that. I'm in Massachusetts. So yeah, I'm up right by the border of Vermont. So that, yeah, it's funny. It's funny weather everywhere, I guess. Right. I mean, so it's always kind of crazy weather nowadays. Maybe it's always been crazy weather. I don't know, but either way, yeah, raining a lot. But yeah, the summertime thing, you know, it's, so that's what I was going to say is someone just signed up for the program and they were like, I was going to wait till after 4th of July. And I realized I'm always waiting for her after something, you know? And I thought that was so profound because, you know, there's some people I work with for many years and, you know, so it's probably, it's Zoom. So all the calls they're Zoomed. The recordings are immediately available for you to have those transcripts, you know, the whole thing. And then if you can't make a call and you want me to answer a question, you just write a question and I answer it on the call, you know. but yeah, and then yeah, so yeah, we have to calls Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. And right now is a good time because it's kind of like the third iteration of the program. I started this program in January. We've gone through it a couple times. I'm kind of in the third version of it, or third cycle of it, not in a version. And so there's not that many people in it. And well, a lot of people don't show up for the calls, to be honest. And so it's an opportunity to work a lot with me. And you know, my private coaching is a lot, so it's a tremendous value. So tap your screens. Yeah, hit me some likes, folks. Does hypnosis take a while to see progress with weight loss? Here's the thing. I'm glad you asked that. So let me talk about that. Because I think hypnotists don't really understand what hypnosis is. Hypnosis is in my opinion, hypnosis is thanks for all the hearts. Hypnosis is the process of being able to influence your subconscious mind. Okay, so it's not going into a deep trance where or your eyes are open and you're in a deep trance. It's the process of intentionally influencing your subconscious mind. So you do this every time you watch a movie or a TV show. Think about it, right? You're sitting there and you're watching it, and whatever you're watching on screen is having an impact on you to some degree. If you're watching sports, you're releasing adrenaline, you're kind of fired up. Thanks for that heart. Was that with a heart? If you're watching a drama, right, you feel sad, right? If you watch a comedy, you're laughing. And so what's happening? You're using your imagination to vicariously experience whatever you're watching on the screen. Right. And so that is hypnosis, right? Because we're looking to influence how we feel. So if you think about it, like every commercial you see, wow, Veronica, thank you very much. I like those figure hearts. Every commercial you see is a hypnosis session, right? And what they're always looking to do is to link the emotion with that product to get you to desire it, to crave it more. And so it's a very powerful way to influence your subconscious mind, is using your imagination. Imagination is the language of the subconscious mind. So the traditional hypnosis model with weight loss is either you go and visit a hypnotist and they read you a script while you are in a relaxed, calm state, or you listen to sessions. You get like your 2-3 session package, and you listen to 3 different hypnosis sessions. And those at best will usually, and again, I hate to say this because I love my hypnosis colleagues. I don't want to say anything to hurt them, but I'm not going to bullshit you. I kind of built my brand here on being honest with you. So what's going to happen is you might get some results for a little while, but then after you listen to those sessions for a while, they're less hypnotic because you just start to know what they're going to say. They're less powerful. That's just what I've seen. So in Program Yourself, then we deal with that in 2 ways. One is that in my program, again, you'll never find a program like this. There's no other program that does anything like this. The way my program is laid out is a little different. It's not like 3 sessions. I've got a ton of hypnosis, but the way it's set up is very strategic. So when you join my program, the first thing you do is delivered through an app on your phone. There is a membership site online that you get lifetime access to, but during the 8 weeks, I deliver it through your phone. So you get it. And tomorrow when you wake up, because I know one of the hardest parts of change is remembering to change. So I know you're going to look at your phone tomorrow morning. And so as soon as you wake up, you see a message from me, you tap on it, and there you go, the 5-minute hypnosis session. Because the hypnosis sessions don't have to be long. It's really more important to have reinforcement and consistency. So 5 minutes in the morning, you relax and calm down, and you get a hypnosis session with weight loss mantra in it. And you get 57 of those. So every day for 8 weeks, it's a different session. So you're building up this subconscious library of hypnotic, of weight loss mantras. And it starts to cause you to think like a thin person. So just relaxing in the morning and absorbing those weight loss mantras will usually impact your day in a positive way. Then at night, when you get home, you get another message right around 8 o'clock, and it reminds you to do what's the core of the program is, and this is the key part of everything. So remember this when it comes to hypnosis. The most important thing is that you learn how to do it. This is the most important thing. Even my 57 sessions, people will cycle through them a couple times, but eventually that's not nearly as powerful as you doing it yourself. So the cornerstone of the whole Program Yourself system is a process I call self-hypnotic programming. It's very simple. It takes a minute or 2, but it's you intentionally programming your subconscious mind. Because what you need that really makes hypnosis very, very powerful is specificity. Okay, because most of your behavior is driven by the environment. Do you notice that your overeating, your poor food choices happen in the same situations, happen at night when you're done with work, happen in the afternoon at the office when the friend who brings the candy in, happens at dinner when you overeat. There's very specific patterns to how you're eating. And so with this program yourself then technique, it's two techniques. It's the redo and the rehearsal technique. And like I said, it takes a minute or two, but what you do is you review your day. If there's a behavior you're not happy with, you redo it, and you redo it hypnotically. So you train your subconscious mind to learn from your mistakes and to start behaving in a different way. It is, I don't know. It's amazing. And then the rehearsal technique is you imagining how you want tomorrow to go. So you play tomorrow as the ideal version of you, which is really the cornerstone of the whole program. Program Yourself Thin really isn't a weight loss program. It's a personal development program. It's about you becoming the best version of you possible. And to make that happen, what you need to do is you need to clarify who the best version of you is, and you need to connect to it regularly. It's like if you want to build big muscles, you go to the gym and you work out all the time, right? And after a while, your muscles start to get bigger. Okay. Well, if you want to be a new version of yourself, a thin, healthy, happy, successful, ambitious version of yourself, well, how do you do that? It ain't by just deciding tomorrow you're just going to be that way. Sorry. It's just our brains don't work that way. You need to practice becoming that version of yourself. Just like if you wanted to play basketball, you can't just decide tomorrow, now I'm a great basketball player, right? You have to practice. So you've got to practice becoming the person you want to be. And so this Program Yourself Thin technique is the way you do that very, very powerfully. And so you program your subconscious mind to act like the person you want to be. And you have to do it consistently. So, sorry if that's a letdown, because we all want to believe the bullshit that you just listen to a couple of hypnosis sessions, now you're a different person. But come on. If that was really true, don't you think people would be doing that instead of injecting themselves with with medicine? So yeah, and then there's more to the program than that. But anyway, so does hypnosis take a while to see progress with? No, it just depends, and so it's not even enough anyways, because hypnosis doesn't, I don't know, Program Yourself Thin, it's a whole system. So there's 3 pillars of weight mastery: your mindset, lifestyle, and eating. And so there's a blueprint in the program that you fill out. You have to customize it. What do you want to do? How do you want to do this? Because it's up to you, you don't have to just follow keto. You don't have to do intermittent fasting. You don't have to do those things. You create your own plan, the plan that works best for you. And so once you have that customized plan, it all becomes easier. And then you're using hypnosis to install it in. And then you got the hypnosis sessions kind of bookending your day, really solidifying the mindset. And then you got me to work with you twice a week for 8 weeks. You tell me what else is comparable to that. So anyways, yeah, so hypnosis, listen to a session. I don't know. Some people see instant results for a little while, and then some people never see results, is usually how that goes. Hey, Chuck Stewart, how's it going? Thanks, Veronica. You won the award tonight for the most flowers. I appreciate that. Chuck Stewart, thanks, Jim. Your sessions have been keeping me on track since August. I only fluctuate 3 to 5 pounds. Super job, Chuck. Great job. How do you recommend we deal with eating when bored? Oh, yeah. The boredom eating. Here's the thing. I'm going to say this, and I know you're not going to like this answer because it's going to sound too simple, but sometimes the simplest answer is the most powerful one, right? So when you're bored, how do you deal with eating? Well, it's about finding other things to do. You see, when it comes to emotional eating, we can take emotional eating right down to the core here. It's basically that the food is, and we've been trained this way in our culture. We've been trained to use food as the primary emotional management strategy. You feel depressed, eat. If you're celebrating, eat. If you're feeling stressed out, eat. Bored, eat. Right? Food's the main thing. And so the answer is so simple. The implementation is a little harder, but whatever. So we use the food. Oh, I'm bored. I'm going to use the food for entertainment or distract myself from being bored. Well, what's the real answer? That food's not really making you less bored. It's not really entertaining you. It's a 5-10 minute distraction. And so the alternative is to find things that actually satisfy you. And I say this, I'm not to impress you, but like a big part of my weight management strategy is the fact that I play guitar. I read a lot. I do yoga. I like to walk. I play basketball. I do a lot of different stuff, and I don't even have enough time to do everything I want to do. So the idea of being bored doesn't even, I can't even relate to that anymore. And I've been there. It wasn't always like this, but I've developed a lot of hobbies, and I just have a list of hobbies I'd love to do more of. That's how you deal with bored eating. Ta-da! I don't know. Is that a satisfying answer? I don't know. It's the right answer. I can tell you that. You know, that's how it is with all emotional eating. People say, I got to get rid of the emotional eating. No, 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 no. Hold on. That emotional eating is serving a purpose. It's satisfying some emotional need, sort of. But what we want to do is we want to figure out which emotional need is it satisfying. Oh, it's bored. This entertains me. Okay. It's a low level entertainment though. You see, compared to learning guitar, learning an instrument, practicing dancing, whatever you're into, and I know you're interested in things. And so when you start thinking about those things, like, holy shit, yeah, that's real entertainment. But a lot of people never get to that level because we're just like focused on the food part of it. So I hope that makes sense because there's a lot of gold in that answer, I'll tell you. Let's see. Thank you for your explanation. I've been doing hypnosis for 12 weeks and have seen small results. Yeah, see, Laura, it's like, to me, because hypnosis, here's the problem with hypnosis. There's really not much behind it. A lot of the hypnosis, like sessions, again, whether you go see it, if you go see a hypnotist, 95% of them are just going to read you a script. And if you get a hypnosis session, you're just listening to a script. Like when I work with people, it's way more coaching. I may make them a customized hypnosis session, but it's specific to their situation. You see, because everyone's got a different thing. So you say, oh, I'm snacking too much at work. Okay, well, then my hypnosis session for you is going to include, well, we're going to talk about it too. So I understand what state you're in, what the situation is, what the solution is going to be. You know what I mean? And so now the hypnosis is, okay, we've talked about all this. And so now you have a subconscious plan that you want to follow. You have an understanding what's going on. And now the hypnosis reinforces that. The hypnosis in of itself isn't going to fix everything. Do you know what I mean? Like it needs to be very customized, specific to your situation. That's why you got to learn the self-hypnosis that you have to. Because here's the thing, folks, we're all our own best or worst hypnotists because we're all up in our head talking to ourselves 24 hours a day. You know, that internal chatter you got going on, that is controlling your weight more than anything else. And you probably have almost no control over it. It's like, that's literally the whole medicine thing now. It's, it gets rid of the food noise. Well, what's food noise? It's an internal dialogue that's constantly fixated on food. I know it well. When your whole life's built around food, all I used to do is think about TV and food. I would think about, okay, tonight's Tuesday, this show's on, tonight I'm going to make this, and that, you know what I mean? Like everything was about, and then for a while drinking. And so I was constantly in my head thinking about watching TV, eating food, drinking. That was literally like 95% of what was rolling around in here. And so that's hypnosis though. Do you understand? Like you're that constant voice that you're saying, those things you're saying to yourself are keeping you at your weight. So you have to learn how to change that. That's the thing. It's the classic, it's a cliche, but it's so true. Give a person a fish, feed them for a day, teach a person a fish, feed them for a lifetime. Well, it's the same with hypnosis. I worked with plenty of people where it's like I would hypnotize them and there would be results as long as they were working for me. And then it would go away because they didn't know how to do it themselves. So it wasn't until I really came up with the program yourself, then technique, began teaching it that way, that people really started getting great results. And because it gave them the control. And so listen, because it frees us of like, oh, well, something's this worked and then it didn't work. We get ourselves out of that. Sometimes things work for a little while and we double down on that. Sometimes things don't work. We tweak it. We learn from it. And when you have that mindset, you can never lose because you're just always optimizing, always making things better, always tweaking. And so that makes a lot better. And it puts you in control. It feels good because you're the one in control now, Jenny says you're my comfort person. I love that. I am. I'm that way for a lot of people because when it comes to weight loss, I was talking about that earlier. I don't know if you heard that when I was first starting the live here, I was talking about love versus hate in terms of motivation. And I know a lot of people try and hate themselves. That becomes talking about the voice in your head. The voice in your head, most likely, if you're my type of client, you're an overthinker and you're a perfectionist. And so you have this voice in your head, which is some version of your parents when they were real disciplinarian with you. And you have that voice in your head 24 hours a day now, and it's grinding you down into a pulp and you can't even get anywhere with it because it just makes you feel so shitty and bad. So, yeah, a big part of what I do is I become this surrogate voice in people's heads for a while. And I teach them. And the voice is much more encouraging and supportive and understanding and practical and honest. So all those good things. Because it's like sometimes we say, well, I'm going to be mean to myself and get good results, or I'm going to be nice and love myself and not get any results. And that's bullshit. You can love yourself and be nice to yourself and encouraging yourself and get amazing results. That's how you get the best results. So I'm glad you said that, Jenny. I'm glad to be your comfort person. I'm glad I could help you. Nothing feels as good as food. Nothing feels as good as food. I don't believe that at all. But again, I'm not disputing that that's the situation you're in, but I would disagree strongly with that. But if that's the case for you, again, what it does, it highlights the core problem, that you've got a very limited, narrow worldview, right? That's fixated on food. because there's a million things that feel better than food, like legit. I'm not just saying that as someone who doesn't like food. I love food, and I really loved food. I've learned to balance it out a bit, but learning a new guitar song, getting a swish when I play basketball, going for a walk, petting my dog, hugging someone I love, reading a good book, having a good conversation, listening to a great song, watching an awesome movie. All those things in my book are better than food. But but if that's what you feel, like that highlights the focus for you. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, again, here, let me take a step back, because so often I'm talking within my paradigm, my program yourself then paradigm. So what I'm saying is kind of like, what are you talking about? Because you're in your dieter mindset. You think and see the world as a dieter. You think of your weight from a diet perspective. And so the diet perspective is like, okay, here's the plan. Now I just have to follow it. Think about it, right? Where is that not the case? At what diet are you like not like, are you kind of figuring things out? I mean, Weight Watchers might be the closest because you get the point thing, but it's like most diets are built around one thing, because they know they're appealing to overwhelmed, overworked people. So they need to make it seem as simple as possible. The diets are like carnival games. They make it seem really simple. But again, keto is the classic for this, because it's like, oh, just all you have to do is stop eating carbs. Oh, well, that sounds easy enough until you go to do it and you realize, oh shit, all I do is eat carbs. So now I have to completely change how I'm eating, and people don't realize that. So anyways, this process that I talk about is really a process of weight mastery. Most people are on the weight loss path, and the weight loss path is a temporary one where I'm going to diet until I lose the weight. Give me the strictest, most extreme plans to get the fastest results. Weight mastery plan is all about, I don't care how long it takes, because my goal is I want to get to my goal weight and live the rest of my life at my goal weight on near autopilot. It's a completely different goal, and it's got embedded in it is a much longer time frame. And so they're two worlds apart. And I would suggest to you, the weight mastery path is much easier, because the weight loss path is really, really hard, because you overwhelm yourself. Do you not? Am I talking crazy? Do you ever look forward to a diet? Once you start it, it becomes your whole world. It becomes overwhelming. Why do you think you stop it? It's not just because it's deprivation. That's a big part, but it's because it's overwhelming. It's too tiring. You get too much shit to do. You're already overwhelmed, and then you're going to overwhelm yourself even more with a diet. It doesn't make any logical sense. But speaking of hypnosis, when it comes to weight loss as a dieter, you are literally hypnotized by the diets to think like a dieter. You can't even separate dieting from weight loss, so weight loss from dieting. You ask 1,000 people in America how to lose weight, you're going to hear diet, surgery, medicine. No one's going to say mindset, because no one even knows what mindset is. If you were going to say, I want to learn how to shift my mindset to lose weight, like where are you finding that information? Who's out there in the world, not excluding me, right? I'm not really out there enough in the world yet, but it's like, who would you even possibly learn from mind-wise about how to lose weight? That's how, because the diets are bullshit, everyone. You know where I'm going if you listen to me, but it's like the diets are bullshit. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. Do you know most of the big diets you know of are owned by big food companies? Did you know Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz? Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. The company that owns Atkins Food Products, the same company that owns Auntie Anne's Pretzels and Cinnabon. The company that owns Slim Fast, the same company that owns Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Do you really think that they want to push a diet that makes people eat less of their foods? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I think what makes more sense is they know diets don't work, and they push them on people because it causes people to keep eating their shit the same way, if not more. I mean, at this point with the diet, right, just to prove a point, not to be a dick, but it's like with the diets, it's like if you hear a friend of yours or someone you know say, oh, I'm going to go on whatever, any diet, like, do you ever believe them that it's going to work? Like, is there an ounce of you that thinks it's going to work? You know what I mean? Like, that lack of faith in them is the same lack of faith you feel about yourself. It doesn't work. And you know this. And again, most of my clients are usually in their 50s, 60s. They've tried all the diets, and now they think about weight loss 24 hours a day, but they can't get themselves to actually do anything. They're just stuck. And they're stuck because they've done the diets. And the only thing worse than like going on a diet, not losing weight, is going on a diet and losing lots of weight and then putting it all back on. Most people can handle a couple of times of that, and then they're just stuck. And they're like, fuck, they can't get themselves to start another diet, because not only is it hard, but then in the back of their mind, it's linked to failure. They've done it. They've done it a couple of times, and they've lost it, and then they put it all back on. And that's so, it just destroys you. It's so demoralizing, And so they're just stuck, and they don't know what to do. Oh, should I do the injection? Oh, should I do the surgery? and it's like, there's no other options in the world, for a lot of these people. Yeah, great job. Great job. Slow progress is great. I can tell you that. I need to find a hobby. Thanks. That's right, Chuck. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. There's nothing wrong with saying I need some hobbies, nothing wrong with that, because again, weight mastery is about mastery. It's about developing yourself into the person you want to be. That's what I try to say. You got to take your weight loss and wrap it in personal development. You've got to make this bigger than weight loss. I try and tell you this. You have no biological mechanism in your body or brain that wants you to lose weight. Do you understand that? We've evolved over millions of years in a food scarce environment. This is why eating a cookie feels the way it does compared to a carrot. It's not because the cookie tastes better. It's because when you eat the cookie, your brain just spitting out dopamine saying, this is good, 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 good. Why? Because it has a lot of calories in it. Do you understand that? Like in a natural environment where food is scarce, the more calories you eat, the higher your chance of survival. And so here we are in a food abundant environment, and it's the same biochemistry, biological mechanisms. So no part of you wants to lose weight other than your little prefrontal cortex up here. So if you try and make your whole weight loss motivation just about that scale going down and losing weight, you're literally fighting against your entire body and mind. And doesn't it feel that way? So you've got to you have to strategically reframe this process into one of becoming the best version of you. Now you do have biological mechanisms to motivate you for that. So, you have to be strategic with it. It's all about strategy. And when it comes to diet, there's no strategy. It's just a tactic. Every diet out there is one tactic. Count points. Stop eating carbs. Stop eating for 16 hours. Just eat Mediterranean food. Just eat meat. Don't eat meat. It's always like one thing. And it's like, that's bullshit, folks. And I tell you, this is one of the most harmful things as well. I'm telling you this right now. And if this overwhelms you, tough shit, because it's true. Your weight loss needs to be a holistic solution, because they estimate we make over 200 food decisions a day. They're just food decisions. And so like, if you think like you're just going to make decisions about what to eat from this point forward until you lose the weight, like you're just not. And so it doesn't make you a failure if you haven't lost the weight on diets. It's a shit ass plan. It's a horse shit. This idea that I'm going to give you a piece of paper with what you're going to eat from now on, and you're just going to do it, is crazy, because most of your eating is done on autopilot. It's subconscious in nature. So you need to reprogram your subconscious mind to eat differently long-term. And when you take that approach, I'm not saying, well, it is faster, because fast is a funny thing too. Because if you lose 15 pounds this month and then you can't stick with it, you put it back on, is that fast? Or is losing 2 pounds a month for the next year fast, but it stays off? Do you know what I mean? Like your definition of fast, you better clarify, because your obsession with fast results is definitely a big part of why you're stuck. That's one of the key parts of the mindset you have to shift. How long you want to keep the weight off for, folks? Forever, right? So this is a never-ending marathon that you're on if you want to master your weight. And I was like, forever marathon. Well, that's great. I'm on a forever marathon and I love it. I love the way I think, I live, and I eat. I love it. And I keep tweaking and optimizing it. I want to live this way forever. I love the foods I eat. I love the way I eat. And I keep making them better and better and better. And I could eat this way for the next 100 years. I love it. So you can do that. And it's a lot better. It feels a lot better. I dropped 50 pounds. I've been the same way for 30 years. I had one blip about 12 years ago, and I haven't dieted at all. I don't even work out. I've done no calorie burning workouts. I do yoga, which is the most gentle yoga on the planet. And I do some resistance stuff now for some other reasons, but it's been 30 years of no consistent working out. I spontaneously do different stuff, but I mean, I'm talking really rarely. So it's purely through mastering my eating. And so that's the strategy I always suggest to my clients, because the working out one comes all sorts of problems as well. And I love working out. I'm not saying don't work out. I think that's a good thing. But I think in terms of you managing your weight, I think the exercise piece, tread lightly, because there's good and bad things of it in terms of weight loss initially. So anyways, thank you for explanation. I've been doing hypnosis for 12 weeks. I think the food helps numb us. Yep, absolutely right, Veronica. Depression does not allow us to enjoy other hobbies. Oh, for some of us. Yeah. No, I get that. I've worked with so many clients that have been depressed, and is this depression? What is it? And listen, I'm not a doctor, but I say this the same thing I say about the menopause and other hormonal physical issues. Is, to be honest, you don't know, most of the time, you don't know how much of it is the depression chemical version of it, genetic aspects of it, and how much of it's lifestyle. I've had people that come, we start working together and like, oh, I'm depressed. I'm depressed. And it's like, we look at their lives and it's like, well, no wonder you're depressed. You never leave the house. You don't move. You eat trash food. You don't sleep. You don't drink any water. You know what I mean? Like all these things would make anyone depressed. Again, I acknowledge there are genetic and physical effects and aspects of depression. I realize that, but there's also lifestyle ones, And so, if you're feeling depressed, again, you might have to start a little slower than someone who's not dealing with that. But I can almost guarantee you there are things you can do that are very simple and easy that can start to bring you a bit out of that at least, And so I've just worked with so many people where, again, I'm not saying that you won't always be somewhat depressed. I'm not saying that because there might be a chemical component to it, but there's almost always some things you can do that are simple that you can make it feel a little bit better. I've had an enjoyable habit of self-hypnosis while I walk the dog in the morning. That's great. Yeah. So Laura, you'd be perfect. I mean, again, what you really want to do is you want to learn to do it yourself. Like, so if you're kind of vibing with the hypnosis piece, because I love hypnosis, but I found when I would listen to hypnosis sessions, the results were okay. They were okay, And I think a part of it was that I didn't understand what was going on. And once I started to really, really master, it's partly neurolinguistic programming, self-hypnosis. I've studied so much of that. And I came up with my own thing, self-hypnotic program, which is kind of a combination of those two. But really what it is, it's really managing that conversation in your mind, the way that you're thinking, the way that you speak to yourself, what you're saying to yourself. When you get a handle on that, I'm telling you, it's, not sound like the Matrix, but your weight is a physical projection of your mental self. And the way you think, that the habitual thoughts you have are creating your physical reality in all ways too. I mean, money, relationships, everything, but including weight. And so to me, it's like, I don't know. I got it. I'm going to write a book. This is one book. I'm going to write a weight loss one, but the second book, I wanted to write this for a long time. I got to do it, but it's self-hypnotic program, just to put that out there as a mental technology for anyone to use. Cause it's amazing. I mean, it's turned my life, I don't know. I can't imagine my life without it. I was 50 pounds heavy. I was depressed. I was binge drinking. I had all sorts of kind of issues. Same brain, same me. All this new information, new programming, and it's I'm the same weight I've been for 30 years. Run my own business. I don't want to brag here, but I'm very, very happy with where I'm at, and I don't see any of this stuff would have happened if I had not learned these things. I truly believe that. That's why I do this. It was so inspiring to me. The transformation I experienced was just so profound that I got a degree in finance and investment. I went to Babson and, I was gonna be a business person, and this kind of happened all at the same time. And it was just like, it wasn't even a competition. I was like, this is what I'm doing. Became a yoga instructor, hypnotist, NLP trainer, coach, all this stuff. But anyways, yeah. So you can always do that. I'm on disability, limited income. I can probably afford $30 a month. Yes, so true. My world's so small. I need food to do all those things. Movie equals food, right? I hear you, Veronica. I get it. Yeah, it's all. We can link food up with everything. I know. But that's what I want you to recognize. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by that, because the first step of change, folks, is awareness, becoming aware of what's going on. And once you realize, oh, geez, I've linked food up with everything. I did the same thing. I went to the movies. It was always food. It was always like that, and I just, over the years, again, mastery, you don't have to do it all at once. You can't master anything all at once. I would say that's my most frustrating thing with dieting. It's this idea that you're going to wake up tomorrow. Well, here's Monday today. I don't know where you're at, right? Maybe now it's next Monday. But you're going to wake up on a Monday and you're just no more carbs. For what? Until you lose the weight, Oh yeah, I'm going to eat 16 hours a day. Okay. It's like all of a sudden you're going to wake up that one day and it's going to be perfect until you reach your goal. And it's like, what a weird expectation, as if you didn't need to practice it. Why would you all of a sudden be able to do that when you haven't been able to do it in the past? What changes? Oh, you just decided? I mean, there's no, like, the thing that pisses me off about dieting is like, there's no room for learning. You know what I mean? Like, it's all or nothing. It's just a straight willpower game for you. And it's like, what have you done in your life where you didn't need to learn how to do it? I mean, shit, you were an adult when you learned how to use a computer mouse. You had to learn how to use it. It was weird at first. Like, everything's weird at first. Changing how you eat is weird. And it's like, just expect you're just going to do it perfect because you decide to do it instead of realizing it's a skill that you're developing is one of the weirdest parts from my perspective, Thanks, Monica. Monica says my tips are effective. I always say that is my favorite compliment. I really live for that. My favorite thing I ever hear is when people tell me that what I'm saying, my techniques and the strategies I'm sharing are practical, because I swear, like I went into this. I've been doing this 30 years personally, 20 years professionally. And this is an NLP thing because they're the ones that came up with this. But I remember I was 19 reading NLP books, neuro-linguistic programming. And it was like they made the point that everyone's always telling you what to do. And no one's ever showing you how to get yourself to do it. And, those books were written back in the 70s. And here we are 50 years later. And it's like, same problem. And especially with weight loss, right? Because everything's, here's the diet plan. Here's your meal plan. Here's the eating philosophy you're going to follow now. Okay, well, how are you going to get yourself to do it? Willpower. You've got one tool at your disposal, willpower. And it ain't enough. You don't even know about willpower. Willpower is a prefrontal cortex process. So it's about 10% of your brain anatomically is your prefrontal cortex. That's where your willpower is. And so your willpower starts out at its highest point when you wake up in the morning, and it goes down throughout the day because it gets tired like a muscle does. And the more you use it, the faster it depletes. And so when you go on your diet and you try and use all your willpower, do you ever notice like you can only do it for a little while and then you kind of run out of willpower, you run out of steam? Yeah, Weight Watchers does not work at all. For me, that is. Yeah, I get it, Veronica. It doesn't work for a lot of people because, again, it's just marketing bullshit. Weight Watchers is, listen, it started out as a good point. A lady in New Jersey started it, like altruistic, like good, just want to help people. Heinz bought it so they could sell more of their shitty food to weight loss people. They used to have weight loss meetings in the back of supermarkets in the freezers so they could sell the food at the end, So it's a marketing company, and they're just like looking for marketing ways to, well, what's our program now? They wouldn't always do points. They did cards before. It's gimmicks. It's all gimmicks. That's why here's how folks. It's like you've been trying to lose weight for decades now. And if you're really honest with yourself, you have just as little idea how to lose weight now as you did when you first before you started your first diet. You haven't learned shit. You got some vague ideas of what you should do. I got to stop eating carbs. I got to get my points lower. I got to, stop eating for 16 hours. You got some idea like that. But you have almost no idea how to get yourself to actually do it because no one's teaching you that. That's why I do what I do, is because no one tells you. I always feel like I'll give you an example of what I mean. Even like I did this series once, The Elite Body, and I interviewed some of the top fitness and nutritionists, fitness trainers and nutritionists in the world. And I would talk to them. I remember one of them, it was Craig Ballantyne. He came up with Turbulence Training, which was a huge program back in the day. And I said, what do you do with your clients when they're not motivated? And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, when your clients aren't motivated, what do you do to get them, back on track? He goes, what are you talking about? I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what? This seems like a simple question. He goes, well, when they come in to work with me, they're already motivated. I'm like, holy shit, I never thought of it that way. Yeah, personal trainers, you got to walk in there, be motivated, right? And I'm like, for me, like my whole career was working with people when they're not motivated. They get on a call, how's the week been? It's been horrible. It's been a terrible week. I feel like quitting. All right, let's get to work. You know what I mean? Like I'm one of the few people that starts with a person there and then flips them around. No one's really doing that, because again, it's a unique blend of coaching, hypnosis technique, neuro-linguistic programming. And because we're not analyzing all the past and all the bullshit, we want to get just enough information so we can move them forward. And I find I just feel like I'm one of the few people doing that. There's not a lot of that. And I feel like that's the most important piece of the puzzle because you know enough of what you should and shouldn't eat and do to lose weight. Problem is you can't get yourself to do it consistently. So again, I do these lives. I do all this stuff. My mission in life is to help as many people as possible live at their goal weight. And so, yeah, I have a coaching program. But I just give all this stuff away for free too, because I feel like it's so unfair. This is life and death. That's a whole other thing is we minimize the weight, but whatever. But this is literally life and death. The way that you're eating, the way you're living over 40, 50, 60, 80 years is going to impact how long you live, the quality of life the whole time, and especially at the end. And so to me, weight loss is life and death. And I want you to live as long as you can, have the best quality life while you're here. That's why I do all these TikTok videos and the podcast every day and the lives and all this stuff. So I want to help you, so I appreciate you saying it's effective. That makes me happy. I'm really struggling. I literally eat so healthy all day, then overeat at night. Yep. Sandra, that's the most common thing I hear. And yeah, that becomes the focus. But I will tell you this, you kind of already know it, but again, program yourself, then the philosophy is a lot different. So with dieting, you're trying to change everything all at once to make it perfect so you lose weight quick. Program yourself, then we pick the worst eating habit and start on that. So that your worst eating habit is overeating at night. One thing I'll tell you is that a lot of times where the problem shows up is not where it was created. So you need to have a holistic view of how you're eating. Because if you're eating really so healthy during the day, which is code for I'm not eating much, and then the night comes and you're really hungry, well, that's going to set you up to overeat. And so strategically, what might be a better plan is to experiment eating a little bit more during the day and go into the evening a little more satisfied, managing your hunger a little better, and see if that helps. Okay. Green, tap your screens. Let me see here. But I'm gonna go forward here. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Yeah, Ozempic is a big one right now. Yeah, Ozempic, all that stuff, you know, it is what it is. Moonlight, thank you. Hey, love your content. I appreciate that. Thank you. What strategy I missed? I just joined. Forget which one I talked. How many times do you eat a day? 3 times. Brandy, yeah, learn your triggers. Yes, learn your triggers. Learn your triggers. Yes. That's wise advice. That's very smart. How do I stop thinking about food all the time? That's a great one. Even when I'm eating healthy and doing good in that sense, I find myself constantly thinking about my next meal. Yeah, I totally get that. And that, again, that's the thing with the Ozempic stuff, right? It cuts the food noise down. But you can cut the food noise down. The food noise is your internal dialogue. That's literally what Program Yourself Thin is. It's learning how to take control of that internal dialogue so that you start, because you are your own best or worst hypnotist, because you're in your head chattering all day and night long, and it's driving your behaviors, and your behaviors obviously drive your results. So changing that internal dialogue that's literally all I do, right? And so people want to take a medicine to do it. Hey, whatever, but there's another way to do it that doesn't use medicine. But how do you do it? Well, you change what you're thinking about. So a big problem with diet mindset is they don't understand the mind. And so you have a conscious and subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is really what's in control of your habitual thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And so in order to change your thinking, you need to reprogram your subconscious mind. So I'll leave it at that. What I would suggest to anyone here is go, if you're not in my world already, go click the link in my bio and get yourself a free hypnosis session. It's right there for you. It's a new Thin Me session. It's a kickstart session built to motivate you and get you going. But then right after you sign up for that, there's a training, 3 steps to master your weight. So watch those and it'll kind of give you some sense of what to do, how to change your thinking. Love your brain. Please write the book. I know. I got to do that. Should be. You went through and held this photo awareness. Look at you. Thank you, Brandy. Quipsy, and the book doesn't have to be complex like Joe Dispenza. It can be accessible like Louise Hayes. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that too. That's another that's one of my favorite comments I ever got is someone said I'm like a blue collar neuroscientist. And I just thought that was the greatest because it's so true. Like, you know, my dad was a mechanic. I did go to college and like I got through it pretty good. Okay. But I'm not like, I don't have a science brain. Like I'm not that type of thinker. So, but I love reading that stuff. I read 50 books a year. I'm obsessed with this, but it's like, I have my kind of everyman blue collar way of thinking about it and understanding it. So I do pride myself on being able to communicate things in a simple to understand way, you know? Is there a place to watch the lives afterwards? I can't always watch them when they are happening. Yeah, everyone. You can, there's 2 ways. You can listen to them as a podcast. So all the podcast platforms have this. It's Program Yourself Thin. Or you can go to YouTube. Jim Katsoulis is my account there. And you can go to the live streams and they're all there. I was live stream these at the same time. And you can watch them whenever. Laura says, you're inspiring. I took an NLP and hypnosis class and loved it. Yeah, Laura. Okay, great. So there, I was just thinking that if you're still here, yeah, you got a hypnosis based brain. Those are some of my favorite clients to work with. So definitely get my hypnosis session. Go listen to that one, but watch the training, 3 steps to master your weight. I think that's going to be really helpful. If you have a lot of people in my world, they are into hypnosis and NLP, and we take that curiosity, that interest, and really help you master it in a very practical and useful way in the program. John Gabriel used it in his program, Life Changing. Yeah, John Gabriel's great. You have a knack for making it make sense in even 3 minutes. Well, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. These are all things that make me really happy. What do you do for I wonder what that word is. That comfort? I wonder if that's comfort. Brad, thanks for that heart. The old king heart. I love that thing. Shaney, you said, what do you do for CO? And I don't know what that means. I'm going to imagine it's comfort, but I don't know. Julian says, great stuff. Thank you. I appreciate it. I like your voice and the way you speak. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's a part of it too. I mean, it's my craft, as a hypnotist, just, I've done over 5,000 private weight loss sessions and just, oh my God, so many hypnosis sessions. But it's funny. Yeah. Cause I hear like old recordings and yeah, you develop the voice as you go on. Cause I just to give you a little peek behind the scenes, even listening to these things, I'm using conversational hypnosis techniques, linguistic programming techniques to influence how you think about things. So, I get people all the time on here that've been listening to my podcast for a while, not even in my programs, but they're always listening to the podcasts, always watching the trainings, and they're getting good results, because I'm not holding back on you. I mean, I think the coaching program is the coaching program. So people that want to, really, really commit to it and work with me and, take it that next level, the program's next level, obviously. But I don't hold anything back even on these. I really, really want you to master your weight, and you don't have to pay me for that to happen. I just want to help you. And of course, if you want to work with me and pay me, of course, you're not really paying me, to be honest. It's really, I have like the Robin Hood model, where, I have very expensive coaching programs. It's 25 grand to work with me, initially. And that allows me to free up time to do all this. I changed everything in January, so that I'm able to really just get the word out there. I just want to just get this stuff out there. I was sick of putting it behind a paywall, which, by the way, again, if you haven't signed up for that hypnosis session, that you go to my bio and click that link, get that hypnosis session, because you get the hypnosis session. I give you that training, 3 steps to master your weight. But then every day I email you like supportive and encouraging coaching. That used to be a program I charged for. Now I just give it to you. It's really good stuff. Again, it'll cause you to think about your weight and this whole process a lot differently. And that's really where I come from, is I want you, the way I think you're going to succeed with your weight is to change how you think about things. I don't think it's just to keep doubling down on the diet approach. I think you need a new approach, and that a new approach involves you thinking differently about it. Is hypnosis considered witchcraft? I mean, some people might if they don't understand it, but really hypnosis, it drives me crazy. Hypnosis used to be very mainstream in the 1900s up until the 30s, 40s. It was doctors were using it. It was a part of the medical system before chemical anesthesia came along. They were using hypnosis for all kinds of things. And then hypnosis got to be this goofy thing. They goofatized it with the stage shows and stuff. And so now people think of hypnosis and, oh, you're going to cluck like a chicken, or, and it's all this weird stuff about it. But the reality of hypnosis is that you are always in a state of hypnosis to some degree. And the classic example is that, like, when you're watching a movie or a show, like when you're watching a movie, right, all your attention's absorbed on the screen and you're experiencing that movie inside of yourself. You're not experiencing the theater. You're not in a dark room with a bunch of people. That's not your experience. Your experience is that you're in that movie. That's hypnosis. And so how do you, when you put yourself vicariously in that movie, you're having those experiences through your imagination. And what that does is it can literally create neural pathways in a practical sense. So the movie's just entertainment, but to use that in a practical sense, what happens is, and you're always hypnotizing yourself, folks, right? Let's be honest. The way your mind works is you're always kind of pre-programming yourself. We're always on autopilot. That's how our brain's designed. We're not consciously making every little decision all day long. I hope you know that. We're on just autopilot. And if you think about tomorrow's Tuesday. And if you think about tomorrow, like, I bet you have a pretty good idea how your day's going to go. And if you're really honest, you're going to know what you're even going to eat. You know what you're going to eat for breakfast. You know what you're going to eat all day long, good and bad. If you're really honest with yourself, you're going to eat that ice cream. And you're already looking forward to it. And that pre-programming is what's creating and building the momentum and bringing you to that moment. So a lot of your eating is happening further, it happened earlier in time. I hope that makes sense. So anyways, with Program Yourself, then we take advantage of that. And so you learn how to program your mind so that you eat differently. But a lot of that happens earlier. So, but it's not witchcraft. Witchcraft is it's goofy to think that, because if that was the case, then we're all witches and we're all under witchcraft. It's that simple. So, yeah. Do you believe in having 2 Slim Fast shakes and 1 evening meal for weight loss? No, Natalie, I don't. I wouldn't drink a Slim Fast shake for anything, at all. Because here's the thing. I'll tell you this real quick. Oh, what's up, Mishikam? Here's the thing with Slim Fast. Again, I was just joking. I don't know if you heard about this. I was talking about the diets and how they're all owned by food companies. And I don't know if this is, again, when I say this, these are all companies that own these companies. They change hands all the time, but I say it just to make a point, that, anyway, Slim Fast was owned by the same company as Ben and Jerry's, Unilever, but anyways, those Slim Fast shakes, man, I would not base my weight loss on those ever, never, ever, never. Okay. Because the main ingredient that's stripped out of the standard American diet that has us all hungry all the time, right? Because if you're eating a lot of processed food, you're hungry all the time. Okay. So you need to know that what you want to do is you want to change what you're eating. And if you start putting more fiber into your body, you're going to feel a lot more satisfied. So I would skip the Slim Fast shakes and I would start to put more high quality nourishment in my body. There's two big things making you hungry. Two big things you're not getting. One is fiber and the other is micronutrients. So if you're eating a highly processed diet, you're not getting a lot of the micronutrients your body needs. And if your body doesn't get enough of the micronutrients, guess what it does? It sends you a hunger signal so that you're hungry. So that's a big part of it. And then fiber, we've evolved to eat fiber, lots and lots of fiber. Even Paleo Man, they estimate now is eating 130 grams of fiber a day. That's the primary thing we ate. And what the value of fiber, right, we don't absorb it. So, the main fiber I'm talking about, it stays in your intestinal tract. But that's a good thing because that staying in your intestinal tract makes you feel full. It activates a thing called the ileal and the colon brake, which send a signal to your body. We're good. We're full. So that fiber is really important. And fiber doesn't process well. So they've stripped it all out of the foods. And it makes you feel satisfied. They don't want that. Understand, all the processed foods, all those processed foods are designed in labs by chemists with unlimited resources to get you to eat as much as possible of it. So all these processed foods are completely unsatisfying. They don't satiate you at all. And so you want natural, healthy food to really satisfy yourself. Because that is the core thing you can do diet-wise to change your hunger level and ultimately your weight. So there's one more thing, volumetrics, the volume of food and the calorie density of it. So if you take like a hamburger, right, it's this big and it's got 1,000 calories in it, and you take a salad that's this big and that has 300 calories in it. Well, the salad's going to make you feel more full because it's a lot bigger. See, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking it's the calories that are satisfying your hunger. It's not. It's the volume as well. There's other factors too, but the volume of food is a huge part of it. Your stomach has stretch receptors. And so if you just eat a small cookie, not only that, but cookies made out of powder. You ever made cookies before? It's all powder, flour, sugar, right? And so those powders go in your body and they're absorbed like that. They absorb fast. And now there's nothing in your intestines and you feel hungry again. Well, it's not the calories filling you up. So the more volume you eat, and again, with lower calories. So again, a salad has a very low calorie density. It takes up a lot of space, but there's not much calories in it. A cookie is very calorie dense. It's a little, it has lots of calories in it. So the more you start transitioning your foods to be more calorie less dense, to eating more less calorie dense foods, which I'll stop talking code. That's natural foods, whole foods, fruits, vegetables, greens, beans. The more of these you get into your diet, what you're going to notice is you're going to reduce your calories, but you're going to feel fuller. That's the holy grail of weight loss, right? A lot of people make the mistake of thinking, I need to be really hungry to lose weight. Bullshit. The hungrier you are, when you get yourself starving, you're not going to, what people do is they starve themselves in the day and then they overeat all night. I see that all the time. People intermittent fasting. I don't understand them. I'm intermittent fasting. I'm not eating for 16 hours. I'm still not losing weight. Yeah, because the 8 hours you're way overeating because you're starving. So again, and I'm not saying, intermittent fast can work for some people. But me personally, I need to manage my hunger consistently. So I wake up with an hour I'm eating. I manage my hunger to a manageable level. I'm not going through the day just like with iron willpower, not eating when I'm really hungry. I'm strategically managing my hunger so I'm not that hungry. Hope that makes sense. It's such a game changer. Sorry, I lost connection. Bloppy-doo. Blop. I don't know what that says. I can't read anymore. There's a bunch of letters. I just know you understand. It's crazy how you know the exact way I think. Thought I was the only one. That makes me happy too. I love hearing that. And it's true. I literally know your brain better than you do. I really do. I have been studying the dieter mind for 30 years, and I've done over 5,000 private weight loss sessions. I know how you think, you know, that's why I come out and say this. I don't give a shit. I want you to know all this because I want you to fix it. I don't want you to keep struggling with the dieting mindset forever. It sucks. And there's no need for it. You know, it's really, it's not a you thing. So you can take anything out of this, let it be this. Because I know what's happening is I know that you've created this belief now that no matter what you do, you can't lose the weight, that you're the problem. You see all these diets, everyone's getting great results, but not you. Why? Because you don't have the willpower to follow it. That's what you're thinking. And you've gotten to the point now, you're like, oh, what's the point? I can't lose weight no matter what I do, you know? And what I'm trying to tell you here is that that's horse shit, because every diet's the same. Whether it's, you know, again, whether it's intermittent fasting or keto or Mediterranean, it doesn't matter what the philosophy is. It's basically you trying to force yourself to eat in a new way. You got one tactic, and it's not enough. You need a holistic approach to make it happen. And when all of a sudden you have a holistic approach, it becomes easier. And then you start getting results. I mean, my whole career is, listen, no one starts with the hypnotist. You know what I mean? I'm the solution of last resort. I'm the solution when nothing else worked, then they show up on my doorstep. You know what I mean? Then when we get to work. So if you take anything out of this, realize it's not you. If you're struggling to lose weight, it's not because you're a weak-willed or a bad person or something wrong with you. It's that you have a horseshit strategy you're trying to follow of dieting, and let it be known. Now he says, I was on calorie deficit, but struggled to lose weight doing that. I have a deadline, so it's temporary. I'm not sure if it's menopause or it's like lose weight before, much easier. Yeah, a deadline. I mean, again, me personally, I never put any effort in anything that's going to be temporary for my weight loss. And that was probably the most profound shift I made mindset wise, strategy wise, to master my weight, is that I never, anytime I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this thing eating wise, I'm going to do this, I always bounce it off of, is this something I could see myself doing forever? And if it's a no, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that forever, then I don't do it. I mean, okay, this is something I can see myself doing for a long time. Okay. It might be a little hard at first. Okay. I got to work on it, but I'm not doing anything that I don't want to do long-term. And so now I have a rock solid eating plan, lifestyle, mindset that I want to live this way for the next 100 years. Like I love it. I love doing this. And so I've optimized and organized around the long-term success, you know, and as far as menopause goes, what I always suggest to people in menopause is to really focus on the lifestyle piece. What's lifestyle? Again, another buzzword that no one really knows what it means. And program yourself then, again, we have a lifestyle blueprint you go through so you can easily and practically implement these 8 habits: proper sleep, proper hydration, relaxation, breathing, nourishment, movement, meditation, gratitude. You get those 8 things in your life on a consistent basis, and you transform physically into a different version of yourself that has more energy, that has more clarity of mind, that lowers your unhealthy cravings, that craves healthy foods, that feels more emotionally balanced, you know, and on and on and on. So again, when it comes to menopause, which I've made my entire career out of helping women in some phase of menopause lose weight. So I do not believe that you can't lose weight with menopause. It might be a little different than before. It might be a little slow or whatever. But you absolutely can, you know, but it takes a lifestyle shift and a shift in how you're eating, not just this, oh, I'm going to try and lose some weight for a little while. You got to let that go. It's so damaging for a million reasons. My problem is when I drink like 3 beers a day before and I eat like a pig. Yeah. Any advice? Yeah. That happens with the alcohol. There's a couple of reasons. I mean, it lowers inhibitions. It spikes blood sugar, which leads to cravings. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't know what I started to do before I really kind of got a handle on the drinking, and I had a huge binge drinking problem. One of the first thing I started doing was I started drinking a lot of water. I was like, oh, that'll help you with a headache, you know? And it kind of did. And so like, I really kind of trained myself to drink a lot of water with that. So that may help you, you know, kind of balance out some of the sugar crashing effects of that. But yeah, I mean, the alcohol, you know, again, it has multiple negative effects, you know, for a reason. So, I mean, I would probably cut down a bit, you know, might be the way to go. Eat healthier food too. That can be helpful. What about insulin resistance? What about it? Mary Jo, let me know what you mean. I can talk about insulin resistance, but let me know your specific question about it. I don't want to just talk randomly about it in the way you don't mean. I am only eating salads, but I still can't lose weight. Oh, okay. But how long you only been eating salads for? I think I asked you this the other day and I never got the answer. Let me know how long you've been eating salads for. And if you've really only been eating salads, what does that mean? I am only eating salads. Does that literally mean you're eating salads 3 times a day and that's it? Honestly? And for how long? And then I'll answer that. Scott says, all I think about is food. Trulicity hasn't even helped. I just want to eat less and eat healthier. Yeah. Yeah. All I think about is food thing. You know, I don't, I get that. See, again, people in my program are all overthinkers. And so this is a common thing because you got this really powerful brain that just gets fixated on things. And again, so much of it is learning how to use that brain and move in the direction you want to go in. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to always think about food. It just, again, this is a hard one for me to answer just generally. I like to know the nuts and bolts of it, which that's something to do. Let me just know in the messages, or let me just know by hearts if you would do. I'm just curious. One of the things I was thinking about doing is starting to do like a live Zoom call where you could work with me. Like you get on, just it's free. You can like just hop on and we can just kind of go back and forth and I kind of coach you. I mean, this is what I do. And now you would be like, you have to sign like a waiver because it would be on my podcast and it would be out there in the world. But it would, if that's something you'd be interested, if you'd be interested in talking to me or doing that, you can certainly send me a message, but that's something I'm thinking about kind of sending out there and doing, because then I can go way more deep in this, because, it's hard to do this without a little more information. But anyways, yeah, a million people I work with, all I think about is food. It's, again, what it comes down to is you have no control over your mind, like you have no idea how to influence your thinking in your own mind. That to me is that's literally 100%, not 100, but that's like 90% of what we do in Program Yourself Thin is learning how to deal with your mind, how to run it. I mean, we live in a world where you're never taught to deal with your mind. You don't even know your mind. You have a conscious mind, a subconscious mind. They work completely different. How to influence both of them? Probably not. So again, you've got willpower to try and stop yourself, but you don't know how to deal with the deeper subconscious programming thoughts. So it's a hard question to answer, but it's not like you can't be fixed because all you just think about food. That's normal. Veronica says, no way. That might be true. Will you consider audiobooks? I love to listen, but have bad eyes, so it's challenging to read some. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm going to make a book. And I don't know if you mean my book, I'm going to put a book out, but audiobooks in general are great. It doesn't matter if you're reading them or listening to them. Okay. Text me. I promise, maybe because I'm always sleeping with no energy whatsoever. Promise what? That you're literally eating 3 salads a day for how long? Answer that question. Come on. I'm studying dentistry and my brother is a doctor. We should statistically not be obese, but we both are. Why? I'm glad you said that, because it brings up the most important piece of information that you could ever know, that information does not equal behavior. Okay. Listen, it costs a lot to work with me. Right. So I work with PhDs from Harvard in psychology, doctors, plenty of doctors, very successful business people. What I'm trying to say is people that are very focused, motivated, ambitious, driven, willpower out the wazoo when it comes to work, all these things. They've accomplished amazing things, but they're struggling with their weight and their health. Don't make any sense. That's my private client in a nutshell. And so information does not equal behavior, though. And the example I like to use is that how to write, right? You could write a letter with your hand. You could write a sentence, a paragraph, a whole letter. Now you have everything you need to know about writing, but you can't do it with the other hand. Just because you know how to do it doesn't mean you can do it with the other hand. You need to practice it. You need to install it, because the truth is you write subconsciously. And so you can be a dentist, you can be a doctor, you can have the smartest brain in the world. If you don't know how to influence your behaviors, it doesn't matter. I hope that makes sense, because I know that's what most of my clients are, just stuck in a state of perpetual frustration. How can I be this way here? So successful with all these skill sets here and then not use them here. You know what I mean? Like that's a big part of my clientele. I'm getting married in September, so I can have a better eating plan after that once I have the time. Yep. Got you. Yeah, well, short-term weight loss is always a challenge. Why do you think that is? We should be thin. Why should you be thin? Because you know better? Is that why you think? Whoops. Is that what you mean? Because everyone knows, listen, everyone knows what they should and shouldn't do. That's not the problem. I always use this example. If you were a robot and you could just type in what you're going to eat all day, right? Knowing what you know now, like you're just going to type in what you're going to eat all day, and then you're a robot, so you just did it. Like you wouldn't have any problem losing weight. The problem isn't knowing what you should and shouldn't eat. The problem is you can't get yourself to do it. So who gives a shit? You could be a doctor. I've worked with plenty of doctors. They know all that stuff, but they can't get themselves to do it because your weight is a physical projection of your mental self, you know? And so listen, I'll tell you the truth. You could be overweight doctor, overweight dentist. Again, all the knowledge in the world, deep down, you think of yourself as an overweight person. If you want to know the shortcut to the quick answer of that, you identify as an overweight person. That's how you see yourself in the world. Doctor, dentist, doesn't matter. And until that changes, none of it'll matter. Everything makes sense what you're saying. Thank you, Natalie. See you later, Chuck. Steak sauces. How do I join your program? You can go to programyourselfthin.com. And you can learn about the program there. And whether you join the program or not, make sure that you go to my bio, click that link and get your hypnosis session. It's free. It's a kickstart session. So it's designed to help you get motivated, you know, to lose weight. Yeah, Natalie says that sounds amazing doing a Zoom. All right, Natalie. Well, here's what you got to do. Go again, make sure you go sign up for the hypnosis session, because then you get on my email list. And I'm only going to offer the Zoom stuff, the free Zoom call to people on my email list, because I had to have them sign a thing. Okay. So, but if you want to do that, get on there. Cause I'm definitely going to do that, because I was thinking, well, we'll see how people like it or not, you know, but I've done a couple of these on my YouTube channel where I did some coaching sessions for free and just put them out there. Cause I think, you know, there's what I'm saying, but then to see it in action in a real actual situation, I think is a lot more powerful, because it has more context to it. You know, here I'm just I'm taking your questions, but it's just one question. So there's a lot more context to everything. I think that makes it more meaningful. But yeah, make sure you get on that email list, and I'll send some info, and I'll test it out maybe this week even. You know, I'm just going to pick a time, and if you can make it, you make it, and if not. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, Brooklyn Dogma. Hey, Brooklyn Dogma. I've seen your name before. That'd be great. Yeah. Yeah. So get on there, everyone. Anyone who's even interested in that, you should be on my email list anyways. I mean, it's the most valuable email list there is. Yeah. Okay, Scott. Yeah. Get on there. 52 and have tried everything. Yeah. That's my clientele in a nutshell. 50s, 60s. They've tried everything and nothing's worked. And now they can't even get started. You're flummoxed and you're apathetic, right? You just don't believe anything can work. But again, let me just hold out hope for this. You know, people, I've tried everything. They haven't tried a mindset approach. You definitely haven't tried my approach, because my approach is the only one on the market. There's nothing even close to mine. I mean, listen, it's not even a hypnosis program. It's really not. And I would not even suggest a hypnosis program unless you just want to waste your money. And again, I love my hypnosis people, but the truth is there's not a lot of good information out there. I had to create all this myself, just being honest. I'm not trying to sound like some egotistical nut job, but I literally, I had to come up with almost all. I read 50 books a year. I've done over 5 times for weight loss sessions. So I'm always like, I follow the Jeet Kune Do model, just Bruce Lee's philosophy of martial arts, where study everything, take what works and discard the rest. And that's how I've come up with Program Yourself Thin. But what makes it unique is it's all based on people that have been successful, not just losing weight, but keeping it off for at least 2 years. And once you start doing that, you start to notice very obvious recurring patterns. And they're all mindset. It's not the techniques. Do you understand? Like people that lose 20 pounds in a month and people that lose 50 pounds for 10 years, they're doing the same techniques while they're losing the weight. But the people that keep it off are the ones that keep up the techniques. And so what's the difference? It's not the techniques. It's not the willpower. It's the mindset shifts they all experience and create. And so even if you realize that, there's no program out there showing you how to create those mindset shifts. Who's got a 60-page workbook, fill in the blank workbook where you customize your own weight mastery blueprints? You let me know. Who breaks the weight loss down? Who has a comprehensive system? It's mindset, lifestyle, eating. And the mindset piece, even if you're like, oh yeah, I got to change my mindset. That's kind of a buzzword too. Well, what do you mean? What do you mean you got to change your mindset? What do you mean mindset? Please explain it to me. And again, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I'm proving it to make a point that people throw buzzwords out. They dazzle you with bullshit. Mindset. What's that mean? Well, I'm saying it, but what when you get into the program, it's 6 categories we go through linearly. We start with motivation because you ain't even motivated. Hate to tell you, but you're not motivated. Don't get mad with me. You're not motivated to lose weight, right? You don't want to lose weight. You wish you'd lose weight. This distinction is crucial because your first challenge is you got to get motivated. I do these all day long, right? I get 50, 60 people on these lives. there'll be like 5 people go and get the free hypnosis session, watch the free training I give them, So it's like, just because you think about losing weight all day, you have to recognize that thinking about losing weight all day is not wanting to lose weight. It's wishing that you'd lose weight, wishing that you'd wake up tomorrow and then just start eating better and lose the weight. You know what I mean? And so to drive the point home, because I know you might be mad at me now, you're like, Jim, I want to lose. Don't tell me I don't want to lose weight. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think you want to lose weight? What's your motivation level? 1 to 10, 10 being the most, 1 being none. Where are you at? Okay, you got your number. And so now I'm going to give you a thought experiment to see if that's true. Let's imagine the person in your life that you love the most was kidnapped. And the kidnapper says, listen, if you don't lose weight this month, you're never going to see this person again. What's your motivation level now? Would you struggle to lose weight in that scenario? Or would it be the easiest weight loss you ever? It'd be the easiest weight loss you ever achieved, right? Why? Because you'd be motivated at a genuine level 10. And that level 10 motivation makes everything else easier. The kidnapper could put all your favorite foods around the house and you wouldn't give a shit because you'd be so what? Focused on your goal. You'd be so committed to getting that it would be easy. So motivation is the first thing. And you don't have any clue how to motivate yourself. Don't get upset with me. But in the program yourself, then there's 2 levels. I call it the motivation matrix. Level 1 is pain and pleasure. Do you know how to use pain and pleasure to motivate yourself? Do you know how to motivate yourself to lose weight by using pleasure? Probably not. And then the second level is intrinsic, extrinsic motivation. It's the science of motivation. Do you know about this? You can look it up, read it for free, please. Because if you don't know the science of motivation, what are you doing? And I know what you're doing. You're winging it. You're winging it. Let's be honest. You're winging it with your willpower. You got whatever plan you try. I've tried everything. Well, okay, they're all diets. And you try and force yourself to follow them starting tomorrow, being perfect with it. And what do you do once you make a mistake? You got no plan. So anyways, it starts with motivation. Once you're really motivated, then the work really starts. It starts with your self-image. Do you know that? Do you know as much as you hate being overweight, you actually kind of like it because you're familiar with it? You got to admit, you don't like being overweight, but you're familiar with it. And if you're familiar with it, that means you're comfortable with it. Because your brain's main job is to be a prediction machine. Predict what's coming up so you can survive. And so your subconscious mind wants to maintain the status quo, overweight and all, because we understand our way in the world this way. You got to understand this. When you start losing weight, when you start eating healthier, it rocks the boat of your life. It rocks the boat of your relationships, your lifestyle, your day-to-day behaviors, how you think, what you do, your routines. So anyways, so it's an inside out process where you start to, again, this is where it comes down. You got to take your weight loss, wrap it in personal development. And it all starts by defining, I want to lose weight. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to lose 30 pounds. That's such a shitty goal. I can't tell you what a shitty goal that is. You don't tell me that's a shitty goal. Oh yeah. Well, how much weight have you lost with that goal you fucking had for 50 years? How could you keep thinking it's a good goal if it never works for you? You know? So, you know, what's a better goal is you say, who's the best version of me? Hey, I got one life here. As far as I know, got one chance. What's the best version of me? What's the best relationships I could have? What's the best things I can do in my life? How do I want to feel? How do I want to live? Who do I want to be? Can you feel that? Right? That's motivation. And so it's about identifying who you want to be on a big level, making it big, because that's the goal. Guess what? It's way more motivating than watching a scale go down and you still being miserable. Okay, so we got motivation, then we got self-image, then we got habits. How the fuck are you trying to change your habits? I know how. Do you know the neuroscience of habits? Go read the book, The Power of Habits, Charles Duhigg. Just start there. Atomic Habits, read that one. Just something. Because what are you doing? I know what you're doing. You're using willpower, just trying to force yourself to act different. To not have like any strategy or understanding what habits are. Like, what are you even serious? I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make a point that it's like, you haven't tried everything. You've never done any of these things I'm talking about. You do not think these are important? I would make the example, like the 3 pillars of weight mastery are, I make a pyramid shape because the bottom level is mindset, then lifestyle, then eating. And what's everyone trying to do? Oh, just change the eating. Well, how you gonna deal with your mindset? Fuck my mindset. I'm not gonna eat more carbs. Okie dokie. You ever tried that before? Oh yeah. Yeah, I've tried 50 times. Does it ever work? No. Well, what's gonna be different this time? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, do you not feel this way, folks? Okay, so we got those three, right? So we got, what do we got? We got motivation, we got self-image, we got habits, then we got emotions. Do you think being able to handle your emotions a little better might be important when it comes to weight loss? Do you think your emotions have anything to do with how you eat? What have you done to deal with your emotions? What ability do you have to experience the emotions you want to experience in life and to deal with the shitty emotions you don't want to experience? What strategies you got at your disposal? What ability do you have to manage your emotions? If it's nothing, if it's a willpower again, who gives a shit about my emotions? I'm just gonna eat well. Okay, okay, go get in a big fight with your spouse, and then see if you know if you're eating still good. You know what I mean? Like, get some bad piece of information. Feel depressed, feel lonely. Then tell me how your diet's going. Anyways, and then the next one is mindset. Specifically, it's really how to think like a thin person. Specifically, breaking it down. Like, what questions do you ask? Solution and problem-oriented thinking. Are you familiar with that? Fixed and growth mindset? Yeah. There's a lot of like specific things about how to think like a thin person. Like, once you know it, you're like, oh, it's like learning another language in some ways, but it's easier because it's English still. And then the final one's maintenance. What maintenance strategies you got? I know what you got. You think, oh, once I lose the weight, then I'll deal with that, Jim. Don't don't harsh my vibe, man. I just want to lose the weight, then I'll deal with it. Okay. Christ. I mean, 95% of people that lose weight put it back on. Don't you think? Yeah, you might want to start with your maintenance plan, because who gives a shit if you lose the weight if you can't maintain it? So program yourself. Then again, we start with the end. Again, this is just Stephen Covey. Start with the end in mind. Start with the end in the beginning. We start with the maintenance plan. From day one, we start with the maintenance plan because it's about living at your goal weight. So if you can do I'm going to do a water fast. What do you think of water fast? Well, I think it's stupid, because are you going to water fast forever? No, I'm just going to do it to kickstart things. So you're waiting, what, a week, 2 weeks, a month until you start actually figuring it out? Because who gives a shit if you can lose a bunch of weight quick if you can't maintain it? And by the way, speaking of maintenance strategies, who are you to think you don't need maintenance strategies until you lose the weight? Don't you think you might want to learn some maintenance strategies so you can get from day 1 to day 2? Are you so cocky? You don't even need maintenance strategies to get from day 1 to day 2, week 1 to week 2, month 1 to month 2. Don't you think you might want to learn some maintenance strategies now? How to deal with stress, how to deal when you feel like shit. I don't know. So anyways, that's my mindset thing. So you tell me someone else who breaks out mindset like that. Hey, I saw you a few weeks ago and I changed my mindset. I want to be fit. I don't want to lose weight. Hey, great job. I love that, Sunflower. Thank you so much for that. You are welcome. That's awesome. Text says, I eat 1 to 2 salads a day, but I'm always sleeping because I have no energy. I haven't lost any weight. Yeah, you might have to add some more calories in perhaps. And that's why you're tired. Again, I can't give, I'm not a nutritionist or dietitian anyways, folks. So that's important to know, but I couldn't tell you what to eat, but yeah, maybe talk to a doctor or nutritionist there. If eating, snacking every 2 to 3 hours, does insulin stay elevated? Oh, okay. Hey, listen, everybody's different. I will tell you that. That's so important to realize. So what I would suggest is, if, get yourself a glucose monitor, see how your body responds to eating and what happens. Cause I work with so many people and it's just all over the place. Things that you thought were, high glycemic foods don't affect them. It's all over the place. So I couldn't answer that question specifically to you, but I would suggest that you get a blood glucose monitor and monitor yourself. Notice how your body handles those things. I'm always thinking about food. How do you be normal? It's so fascinating to me. I'll tell you that the best thing that's come out of the Ozempic thing in my world is the food noise conversation, which I'm going to do a whole thing on, because that's what I realize. Like that's my whole world is what's food noise? It's your internal dialogue. And, oh, why is it always about food? Jim, why do I always think about food? Let's think about this. Could it be because you're seeing hundreds of food ads every single day? Every food ad you see is a hypnosis session. I mean, if you listen to my hypnosis sessions, if you listen to 40 of them a day, all you'd be doing is thinking about eating healthy stuff and being your best version of you. So why do I have food noise? Yeah, because you're constantly surrounded by negative programming, and then reinforcements when you're driving by, you go in the store, you see it. You're surrounded in it. I'm going to take a medicine that makes me not think about that. Oh, you knock yourself out. You do that, I'm going to do it naturally by changing how I think. I can never change how I think. Why not? Because I don't know how. Well, you can learn. I'm not picking on you, Cappuccino, but I just hear that so much now, the food noise thing. So just bullshit stuff of weight loss. Listen, here's what it comes down to, folks. There's so much money being made off of you being overweight, unhealthy, and unhappy. I mean, probably a majority of the economy, I bet. It's all the food, right? Because the obesity conspiracy is three main players. It's the food companies, obviously. It's the diets, which are the food companies. And then it's the medical establishment. And I love me some medicine, but come on, man. Let's be honest. It's a business model that's built around treating the symptom, not finding the cure. And nothing pisses me off more than watching doctors sing Ozempic's praises, and whatever. I don't want to get into that right now, but anywho. We say the exact thing to each other so often it's hard to understand. If counting calories is a good idea. A core idea of program yourself is there's no right or wrong. There's only what works for you. And so if you love counting calories, knock yourself out. I hate counting calories. So I have chosen to go a more kind of intuitive way. So by structuring my eating though. So there's a structure there, but instead of counting calories, very specifically, I kind of get a general, I eat very structurally. So I eat the same things regularly. And because I eat very similarly, I've mastered that so that I'm at the exact weight I want to be. I don't know if that makes sense. But so there's no good or bad to it. I do like counting calories as a calibration tool anyways, because I think a lot of people have inaccurate ideas of what they're eating. So I think at least taking a little bit of time and kind of clarifying that is very valuable. To imagine that you're going to count calories forever. I know like Susan Thompson, Bright Lines, who I think she's brilliant, but her strategy is she measures her food forever. She's going to measure her food. That would be a nightmare to me, and I wouldn't like that. So again, a big part of like what's going to work for you isn't just like what's most effective. It's also what kind of resonates with you. All the diets work if you followed them perfectly, but it's like, do you want to follow them perfectly? You know what I mean? So always take that into account as well. Been getting your emails for the last 3 weeks, so I will look for this upcoming Zoom. Thanks. Yeah, great, Scott. Yeah, check it out and get on there and we can talk. That'll be cool. In school for holistic health sciences and mindset is the key. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Laura, you should really look into the program. If you're in school for this, this would be some of those valuable information you'd get. Steak sauces. I used to love steak sauce. I used to love A1. I used to eat a lot of steak. And A1 was my favorite. Loved it. It shouldn't be, but I'm focused when I have to shit on somebody. I'm sure you're referring to. Lisa says, love everything you say. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. Mads says, this week I've been working on my all or nothing mindset. I had a cookie earlier and didn't binge. Hey, Mads, all right. That's great. That's so great. Remember, we don't be all or nothing. We want to be all or something. Right, folks? I was just thinking this, like I do this all or something thing with everything, because I'm on the path of mastery with many things in my life. And guitar is one of them. And I've been playing guitar for 30 years. And I love that I'm all or something with it because there's times when I'm really, really into it. And there's times when I'm not. And I never let it go, though. So even if I'm not in the mood to play, I will just play things I know and just things that are simple to do just to keep my hands in it, keep it part of my routine. And it's like, I'm getting ready to go into another all phase. I'm so excited, but that's one of those things where with the weight loss thing here, hope you get this, right? Because this is a profound idea. When you're all or nothing, that's what most people think, right? All or nothing. And you're usually nothing. That's what that nothing stands for. You just doing what you're doing. That's the nothing. And then you start on your Monday, you start your plan, and now you're going to be all. Everything's perfect. And you do that for a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. Come on. And then what do? You go back to nothing. Okay. So nothing really changes there. So what I would suggest to you is that going from here to here for a couple of weeks isn't going to make much difference in your weight. What makes a huge difference in your weight, and it's a lot easier, is to go from here to here. Hey-oh, that's the all or something. And this could be 30, 20, 10, 30 pounds. It's way easier. May not bring you all the way to your goal, but it's a way easier way. And now you've got a strong foundation. Do you understand? You hear what I'm saying? There's a paradigm shift of what to do. Because what you're trying to do is make everything perfect. And it overwhelms you and you go back to doing nothing. What I'm saying is take small, strategic, simple, easy actions and raise this part up. And next thing you know, you're a lot closer to all and you've lost some weight and it's easy. Weight loss. Program yourself is the easiest weight loss there is. I just made a video. You should watch it. The laziest weight loss. You should really optimize towards laziness to easiness. You're not. You're looking for the hardest weight loss. Great job, Mads. TB says, I did 5 days water fast, but felt good. Yeah, great. I mean, I think water fasting's fine. I mean, it depends what your goal is. If you're doing it for, health reasons or, spiritual reasons, and knock yourself out. But if you're doing it for weight loss, water fasting is, probably not a great idea because it's just a short-term strategy. It sets you up for disappointment. It makes a weird relationship with food, but if it works for you, knock yourself out. Julian says, what do you think of calorie counting? I think I just answered that. Sorry for asking the same question twice. Guess my internet is lagging behind. Yeah, I just said, basically calorie count. It's just like everything else. If you love doing it, knock yourself out. There's no right or wrong, only what works for you. And same with that. So if you like calorie count is probably the most effective, like scientific way to lose weight if you're that type of person, So yeah, feel free to do that. But for me, I would hate to do it and I wouldn't do it. So it wouldn't work for me. So what I was saying is that you gotta, whatever strategies you're going to use to master your weight, make sure they resonate with you. There's not just right or wrong strategies. You have to take into account how you feel about it. All right. So I hope that helps you out. All right, everyone. Oh, there it is. Di says, oh, hey, Di. Hi, is the program still available? As I tried to get it and I only found the hypnosis session. No, the program's still available. You can go to Program Yourself Then. Email me at jim@programyourselfthen.com. That's my best way. Sometimes people message me through this app and I miss it for whatever reason. But you can message me through the app too. I'll see your name. But yeah, you can go get it. And if you get it, we're doing our coaching call tomorrow. Good time to start. But yeah, if you go to programyourselfthen.com, you can sign up for it. And if you have any questions, you can shoot me a message. But yeah, then you can be started tonight. Listen to your hypnosis sessions, programming yourself, filling out your blueprints, put yourself on the path of success. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you all. You're traveling tomorrow? Okay. Yeah. And remember that too. Like if you do get in the program and you can't make the call, you can always ask questions ahead of time and I answer them on there. Yeah. Great. I'll look for your email. Naja, you're helping me so much. For the first time, I'm losing weight. I can't believe I lost 3 kilos. Yeah, that's great. Nice job. Yeah. That's my favorite thing. People that can't believe it, right? Of course you can't believe it because you've developed this mindset. Nothing works. I tried everything. Nothing works. And you haven't tried everything. That's what I try to tell you. Not to be confrontational with you, but you haven't tried everything. Hey, what's up? Is it independent? So once you realize you haven't tried everything, it opens the door that there's other things you can try, and do to get way better results. Because that's literally every client I've had. You know what I mean? I've never had someone who's like, I've never tried losing weight before, but can I work with you? That's not how it works. They've tried everything and then they get to me. I can't get that name. If I were not to do it the all or nothing way, do you have an opinion on how often you should weigh? Oh, yeah. Well, this may sound, again, I love stuff like this because it may sound counterintuitive from what I just said. But me personally, when I was losing weight, I weighed myself every day. And I'm a big proponent of that. But let me preface this by saying, again, there's no right or wrong. It's only what works for you. If you absolutely hate to test the scale, then don't use it. Okay. But I like, if you're serious about losing weight, I like weighing yourself every day for a number of reasons. I think getting that instant feedback, that regular feedback is really valuable. It helps you work through your emotional baggage with your weight and with the scale and all that. I think there's just a lot of good things with it. So yeah, me personally, and what I encourage people to do, again, if I could work with them and they don't hate the scale, weigh yourself every day. And I'll tell you this, and this may sound crazy to you, but I'm just going to say it because this is where I help people get to, is that you want the scale to feel like the speedometer of your car, right? So when you're driving your car, if you look, you're not scared to look at it because if you're going too fast, just slow down. If you're going too slow, you speed up. There's a sense of control over it. Okay. So what I'm saying is the reason you detest the scale is because it brings right up in front of you the fact that you don't have any fucking clue how to lose weight. You think about losing weight 50 pounds all the time. You don't know how to lose 5 pounds, to be honest, And so once you have a real strategy, a real plan to master your weight, the scale just becomes a feedback mechanism. And it's not all this all emotion that it elicits in people. So I hope that makes sense. And obviously your speedometer is valuable, isn't it? And so the scale is really valuable, I think. But of course you can also lose weight without a scale too. So there's that too. Brooklyn Dog Mama, thank you. By the way, I enjoy your emails. They're great. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, listen, everyone, I got to get out of here. But if you want to get those emails, again, I give you lots of free stuff and I got more stuff coming. I'm excited about it, but get on my email list. And you do that by clicking the link in my bio. Go get your hypnosis session. I give you a training, 3 steps to master your weight, and I email you every day. Okay. Check it out. Thanks, Nadia. I love your approach. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'll just say blop. Thank you so much. I'll check your stuff out. Yeah, great. And I hope to see you all in the program. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Remember, you can, my podcast is Program Yourself 10. You see it on all the platforms. My YouTube channel is Jim Katsoulis. TikTok is Program Yourself 10. And I also have a Jim Katsoulis page, but it's all more hypnosis and other things. But all right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.